Thank you very much, Sanjay. Thank you very much, Sanjay, and nice connecting with you. I know in the past we've worked on so many issues together, and excellencies, my friends from the Parliament, Mahesh is there, and I could see Manoj ji and Birender Singh ji. Apart from Mr. Bakshi, Baroness Verma. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. And I think COVID has taught all of us a lot. One is that there are limited resources one needs to live with, and one can live a happy life, content life. You really don't need a lot. And a lot of things which go wrong in the world are because of greed and not necessarily need. And that is what, if people learn from COVID, will be a great lesson in coming times, because the world has changed, the world is changing. And coming to the economic aspect, I used to say, and in my interactions with various MPs from other parliaments, I've always maintained that there's always a cost to democracy. And that cost is sometimes very expensive. All of us have paid it in one form or the other. Sometimes it is in the form of inefficiency of the system. Sometimes it is in terms of noisiness of the system, and democracies mostly are noisy. Not many people will speak in the same voice as compared to communists and communism per se as an institution. And we are all facing the rewards of reverse thinking, because all the mistakes in the past that we may have made in terms of economic policies is what we are faced with today. The fact is that global supply chains are controlled by one country, and the reason was the world invested in that country and did not invest in other democracies, which could have been noisier. And where democracies went wrong, they all became traders, because it was easy to trade than to be a manufacturer and produce goods. And that's where the entire economy has faulted. And when it comes to correction, the correction is not going to be only in terms of COVID vaccine, PPE kits, uh, other medical equipments, face covers, etc. But correction needs to happen at every level. So go local, be vocal, about local are the things we all need to take pride in. And I remember, of course, we all use Apple cell phone and uh, all other equipments. I'm not saying we should not, but the fact is that India, which has such a large population and people who are hardworking, there used to be one Nokia factory which was producing phones many years ago, and that also in pre 2014 era got shut down, and we did not invest in the motherboard technology or chips or Intel formats, and high tech, which has to be made at low cost, we went out of the market and we only became importers. Exactly how British imperialism controlled us, that we were only a market, and precisely that's what we did. And when I say go local, it does not have to be just khadi or clothing. I'm saying khadi clothing are our pride places, which we can always encash on and depend on. But there are several other technologies where we need to work at, because we must understand that some of the best brains in engineering technology is what we have. And encircling that with proper skills and gradation and technical support staff, we need more technician and skilling of technicians. That's what we need to do. We can change the economic scenario of this country. We need to invest in artificial intelligence. We need to invest in robotics. We need to invest in pharma. And that's where everybody else needs to come out. And when it comes to policy again, India continues to be one of the best places for pharmaceutical industry. But unfortunate that between a decade of UPA 1 and UPA 2, we lost out four of our major competitive pharma companies, which were global suppliers. And if we invest rightly, two from public sectors and two from the private sector were shut down. And even on our basic needs like active ingredients, we started depending on China. I think the time has taught us that whether it's high science, which needs to be made available at low cost to maximum number of people, then India has to be the place. A short example, a small example is that when it comes to sanitization, whether it's COVID or any other pandemic, you need UVC. And UVC is the only scientific methodology by which you can kill the virus. And we've done a lot of research on this. There's a Stanford paper on this. But UVC robo will cost anything between 8 to 10 lakhs, a million plus, when you import it from any other country. And we, in our small um, method or trial, created a robo for close to 50 to 60,000 rupees in Delhi. So I'm saying this kind of technological know-how, by reducing the number of sensors, putting it on internet, we could manage a mobile robo within say 50 to 60,000 rupees. That's what we need to do. Innovate, create world-class products at lower cost, and you will see where India goes and how world benefits because of India, because we are a vibrant democracy. We need to sync with each other. There are certain goals on which there can be no compromise. And persecutions of Indians, persecution of Hindus, and the kind of Hindu phobia which is going on across the globe is putting us on back foot. We need to be vocal in a dignified way and carry on our conversations so that we are able to expose the politics of uh, religion and the exploitation which is going on simultaneously. And world democracies will recognize that, provided we know how to put our point of view across. Economy and correct thinking need to go hand in hand. You cannot criticize China and at the same time buy products from China. You cannot criticize imperialists while subjugating yourself to imperial forces and not correcting your own task, your own method of working. With these words, I can thank you, because I know everybody else also has to speak, and I also need to leave because I have another meeting which was set up for 3:30. I personally request FII, because any chamber of commerce needs to focus on manufacturing sector, work on our strength. Logistic chains is what is missing in our agro produce management. We need to work on that, work on infrastructure, work on technically superior products and space science, etc., which we are already working on. Artificial intelligence, robotics is next thing to go, and IT industry, of course, but go to the basics of starting with manufacture of motherboards and chips design. I mean, how is it that India cannot have a chip designer? How is it India cannot produce a single chip in this country? And how will we produce automatic machines? So go to the basics, enlarge upon that. I'm sure we have the capability, capacity, and wherever capability, capacity is missing, we have the capacity to build there. Government is proactive. By God's grace, we have, as somebody complimented in the beginning, uh, some people in the policy making who are vocal about national pride and nationalism, and also take a lot of pride in Make in India campaign. So let's all work together. And Make in India cannot be an isolating factor, but we need to cooperate with other democracies, because there is a political cost attached to it, and that's what world needs to see. What happens when you start buying goods at cheaper rate, because that Frankenstein will come back for you. And if we understand that, paying a little more, because that's the cost attached to democratic systems, and working with democracies has to go parallelly with the economic well-being. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Look forward to cooperation across Parliament.